Welcome to the Prospect Warehouse Podcast. This is your host, Tim Kanak. You can find me on X at Fantasy Aceball. And co-host today is ya boy, John Anderson at John PGH. What up, John?
Hello. It's Thanksgiving. The best week of, it's my favorite holiday. Not that we have to talk about lame small talk stuff like holidays and weather and stuff, but I'm going back to Pittsburgh. So we're doing this on a Monday here. Going back to Pittsburgh, me and my buddies have played we've actually played tackle football since we were in 10th grade every Thanksgiving morning. Now I moved. I haven't made the last 3 years, but I'm going back this year. The kids are old enough to easily travel, see my family. So I get to play football with my buddies again, Turkey Bowl, but they had to go to Flag because we're all in our mid-30s and they business decisions, I guess. Nobody wants to get hurt, but that'll be fun.
No major injuries. Nobody can have a major injury.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating to especially when you have a wife and kids and stuff. Like the wives don't look too happily on you, breaking your leg, doing something you don't need to be doing.
I think I broke my toe. I don't know, not long ago. Dropped a bundle of shingles on my toe.
Yeah,
that hurt, and it especially sucked because I had to keep walking on roofs after. Right. So walking on pitched roofing surfaces with broken bones is not the easiest. But if I can do that, I think Secret Service can manage a 2-on-12 pitched roof. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
all right. Right. You've been working on your moves, right? You've been working on your dunking?
Yeah, I was just showing Tim. I mean, I put it out there. It's pretty big news. I dunked a basketball on a 7-foot hoop the other day, tweeted out the video. So you guys can go check that out. I'd probably stop the podcast and go to my Twitter feed and scroll down to Sunday early afternoon. I thought I was windmilling it. I thought I brought it the whole way down to my knee, and then you review the tape, which we won't show, but I barely moved the ball at all, but it felt good. So yeah, I got a hoop out in the driveway, and my boys are still a little bit too small to play, but it was a big moment for me a couple months ago getting a hoop installed. So I've been having some good times. Again, like I said, I'm a decent athlete, but I'm just too small, and I don't know. I can fool people, but the size has been in trouble. But yeah, it's good times. The weather is still hanging on out there. We have some snow and we have some nice days, so we're getting it all. But
a good 16 inches of vert.
Yeah, I can't jump, man. It's
you live in Indiana. You should be able to be very good at basketball. Isn't that like the thing?
I was born in Pittsburgh, where nobody knows what basketball is.
I guess
it's the two opposite. Like Pittsburgh, you can't. My parents, very few driveways in Pittsburgh are flat. I was lucky enough to grow up with a pretty flat one, but everybody else, you grow up playing basketball if you're playing on hills and stuff. It's wild. Like the house I grew up in, you couldn't do it, but here everything is flat. Everybody has a hoop in their driveway in Indiana.
So you pick the inclined angle of the driveway to jump down at the hoop on.
Yeah,
you have to pick your vertical attack angle or whatever.
Right. But then your jump shot gets all messed up because you go to an actual gym and it's flat and you're like, oh, I'm not used to being at this consistent level with a hoop. So yeah. But I ended up playing tennis. Tennis was my actual best sport because I was, no contact in tennis. So college tennis player, you guys know my story of I went to the same college as Mason Miller. Mason Miller went to what a story about that guy. We're past the athletics, but did you know this? He started at this Division III little college that I went to in Southern Pennsylvania.
I think I knew that. I don't know the name of the college, but I think I remember he was Division III.
It was called Waynesburg University. I've got a few tweets and parts of the Daily Notes about it. How he was just a nothing. Waynesburg University athletics is just like high school. You pretty much, it's a small college, Christian college. You kind of just walk on and do whatever. It's not a big deal at all. You don't get recruited or anything like that. But Mason Miller just was going there because he's from Pittsburgh. And then all of a sudden he added 10 miles an hour of velo. And then he obviously transferred out. But his Waynesburg baseball numbers weren't even good at all. And I'm talking, this is a really small school. So it's pretty wild for him to have gone there. And years after me. So we were never there at the same time. But I played tennis for the same school that Mason Miller started playing college baseball at. So I don't know if that's more of a credit to my fame or his, but probably mine. And now we can stop talking about me.
I'm trying to look at his college stats.
Yeah, it's on Baseball Reference. If you pull it up, it says like Waynesburg.
I'm gonna say on Fangraphs all they have is Gardner Webb University.
Yeah, that's like the actual like the D1 whatever that he transferred to, but he started at this little tiny school named Waynesburg. Nobody had any idea, and now he's a millionaire pitcher for. He'll probably make a ton of money coming up, but
yeah. So pickleball is gonna be your jam when you're an old man.
yeah, pickleball's for quitters though. I'm still quite good at tennis.
Yeah, no, that's for old. It's for when you get old. That's when you play. I set up an archery thing in my house this last weekend.
Archery,
yeah, and I didn't realize how hard I was going to shoot. And my first arrow, because I put up a archery thing, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to miss." And my first arrow went totally through my chicken coop, like all the way through, and I can't get it out. It's just stuck in there now.
Forever. A real arrow.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with the kids, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's why I shoot in the chicken coop. I was like, "This is a nice." I was like, "This is a nice backdrop."
Yeah,
there's a wall.
If you kill a chicken,
my arrow just went completely straight through the wall the first shot, and I was like, "Okay, never mind." So I took a bunch of plywood and set up my own target on that where if I miss now it'll go into the woods. So I don't know. I might kill some innocent woodland creatures at some point, but if I miss, but hopefully not. So we'll see.
And you got Thanksgiving dinner. You can eat chicken instead of turkey.
Yeah, or squirrels or whatever. I mean, I'm in Florida, so there's like weird stuff here. I've got the dinosaur. I've got the lizards that walk on the hind legs, like in Australia, because people just drop random crap in the Everglades. So we've got all this weird stuff that is not actually supposed to be in Florida. So that's what's up.
Hind leg lizard. That is about as terrifying. I've wanted to come down and see you and go to a spring training game, but every time I talk to you about Florida, it makes me want to do that less.
No, you've got to come. You've got to come for spring. You can stay at my guest house even, so you don't even have to pay except for your flight or whatever. That's the move. That's the move. All right, so let's get to the Reds. We're gonna talk about the Cincinnati Reds today. We'll start at number 20. Number 20 in this Red system is a man named Mason Neville, and I'm not talking about Neville Chamberlain. We're not going back to history. This is Mason Neville because we're gonna have we got an Adolfo, and we got a Neville Chamberlain in this podcast. There you go. A lot of World War II references. So Mason Neville was a president or was a prime minister of England. No, he wasn't.
I wouldn't have known that. I knew that was a historical figure from that period, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you who he was exactly. So good for you.
One time long ago, I was a history teacher. Mason Neville is a fourth round draft pick out of Oregon from this last year, and he debuted at A-ball, so we do have a little bit of a sample size here. He's got a 94 hit tool, 101 speed, but he popped 26 bombs at Oregon last year, which is a lot of home runs for college. Metal bats, yeah. But that's fun enough. You see a terrible 59.6% contact rate in his 23 games at A-ball, but the dude hit 26 home runs with 9 steals in college last year as a junior. And he started at Arkansas, so he was SEC at one point, but he did finish Pac. But 26 bombs, even in college, like I'm going to throw him on the list just for that.
All right, that works.
Yep, that works. Number 19 on the list is Jose Franco or Franco. I don't know. If you're Jose, it's got to be Franco, not Franco, right? Like you can't be like the actor. Like James Franco.
Yeah, well, wasn't there a good like socialist dictator named Franco too? We could just keep the theme going.
Yeah, there was in Spain. That's why Spain did not fight in World War II because they were in the middle of a civil war at the time, and they had a nice. He was a little nicer, I guess, than Joseph Stalin and Adolf Hitler because nobody remembers him. So I guess we'll call him nice. But yeah, that was the dictator.
Convenient timing. He could hide below the headlines and carry out whatever he wants.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess if his name was Joe, we call him Joe Franco. But since his name is Jose, I'm going to call him Franco. But he is close to the majors. AAA pitcher here. He made 14 starts last year, 3 relief appearances. I kind of think that he's probably going to be a major league reliever based on the number of starts versus relief appearances last year at AAA, but he pitched 110 innings, so I don't know. I guess he could start, but a 13.7 K- walk ain't great, and a lot of that is kind of just like iffy command. 11.5 walk rate last year. So you can see a 106 stuff is semi-decent, 95-mile-per-hour fastball that he throws 51% of the time. But he's basically a three-pitch guy, fastball, curve, changeup. So I think he probably makes his debut as a reliever. And, some of these guys, sometimes they're like a borderline starter, but they could pop as a pretty solid reliever. So Jose Franco, Emilio Pagan is a free agent. So we don't know who the Reds closer is going to be.
Yeah, is he really 260 pounds? Is he a big guy?
Let's see how big he is. I've actually never looked at him.
That's
I've
a
only
big
looked
number.
at his stats. Yeah, that is a big number for a 6'2" guy. He's not that big. I was gonna say there's a little Bartolo-ish right there, being 6'2".
Might be probably fake news.
Yeah, he's big, but he doesn't look huge. He's got a little belly. There we go. Oh, look at it! Strikes out 9.
We're at 9 or 19. We're not going to spend.
We're not going to watch a video on Jose Franco here. Joe Franco. Let's get to number 18 here on the list. Number 18 is Ricardo Cabrera. Now he goes by Ricky, so he's getting a little Americanized here. Formerly Ricardo Cabrera is now Ricky Cabrera. So a little I Love Lucy here for Ricky. But
did you ever watch Trailer Park Boys, Tim?
Like one episode maybe.
Okay.
Why?
That's it. Well, the guy. Every time I hear Ricky, it just makes me think of that show. And I don't know.
All right.
I never knew how many people actually watch that one. I know the Canadians are real into it, but there's my olive branch to the Canadians. I've offended. I was formerly a big Trailer Park Boys guy, although now it's much too vulgar for me. I'm now holier than thou. So.
You have kids. You can't watch watch certain shows when you got kids around. So he was hurt. He was hurt. Missed a lot of the season last year. Formerly like a higher rated prospect in this system. I used to have him as like a top 10 guy. His 2024 was pretty solid. 2024 in 105 games, he had 11 bombs and 19 steals. 2023, he was even better. 2023, we had an A-ball complex mix where he had a 154 WRC plus through that season. So like this is a guy that had a really good complex as an 18-year-old, had a decent 19-year-old season in A-ball, and then kind of pooped the bed last year and then got hurt. So I don't know. I feel like his bad year was maybe because of the injuries. So I think he's worth keeping on your list. But that's Ricky, formerly Ricardo Cabrera with the Reds, who's a middle infield prospect. Going to be 21 next year. So kind of a make or break year for him in the system to see if he's going to be just like a guy or if he can make the majors and be like a major league guy.
Yeah. Different names on my 2 different dashboards here. So good luck to everybody looking for him. Have fun.
Yeah. Number 17, Mason Morris. So Mason Morris is also a draft pick, and we have 0 data on Mason Morris because he was a draft pick. But let me pull up real quick. I didn't have this prepared. Let me pull up where I've got him in FYPD just as a heads up for everybody. Because I know everybody's questions nowadays this time of the year is where do you have him in FYPD? And I have him at 76 in the FYPD. That's not bad, right? 76.
Yeah,
he pitched 4 innings, so I mean, like you're not gonna have any F scores on him. But he pitched 4 innings in 2 starts in the minors, so basically just a little show me or whatever. But he went to Ole Miss, 3rd round pick out of Ole Miss, 24.9 K minus walk in the SEC last year is not bad. SEC is the best league for those of you who didn't know for baseball, just like it is for football. So, it's like it's arguably almost better in baseball than it is in football. Would you say, John? Because I feel like the rest of the leagues are really, really bad in baseball.
Well, I don't pay attention to college baseball at all. I know I have to start now. We're freaking telling me to draft 17-year-olds and all these drafts, the Dynasty League stuff we're going to. But I talked to Tanner Allen, that one dude, had him on the podcast went to Mississippi, whatever. Makes sense. I mean, kind of a lot of Southern athletes down there playing baseball in the older school world of America. So it makes sense. But yeah, most of these guys you hear about are like Tennessee, Mississippi, Rice. I don't know. The Rice probably isn't in the SEC, but whatever. Yeah. My question is this Matt Morris? Is this guy related to Matt Morris, the great? Is that his name? The Giants pitcher?
Mason Morris? I wish. That'd be sweet. No, Matt Morris is a Cardinal, man. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Well, did he play for the Pirates at some point?
Yeah, for like a year, I want to say. But Matt Morris was like my favorite pitcher growing up. When I was a kid, he was my favorite pitcher on the Cardinals. There he is. That's the man. I remember he was a kid.
He'd be
when I was
51. He could very well have a kid around this age. So, but yeah, he finished
Yeah.
here with the Pirates. Finished his career with the Pirates with a 9.67 ERA.
Yeah. See, only 2 years in the Giants? Look at that. Mostly a Cardinal.
Yeah.
Like 8 years in the Cardinals or whatever.
I apologize.
Yes, you better. Favorite pitcher growing up. So Mason Miller, or Mason Morris, Mason Miller. We were talking about Mason Miller earlier. Mason Morris was a reliever in college, and he's transitioning to starter. But he's got some good swing and miss stuff. So I'm a fan. Was throwing strikes in his little debut here. A lot of strikes, nice swing strike rate. So I like some Mason Morris here. Number 16 is Iker Radona, who Doc and I talked about on the Fantasy Ace Ball podcast a couple times. He's interesting. I think he's from the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. He's either from the Netherlands or he's from like Norway or something, or like Iceland or something. He's from like a really weird country of origin. Let's pull that up real quick. Because I was like, what kind of name is Iker?
Yeah.
Oh, where is this guy from?
Well, he says he's born in Mexico.
Oh, he's from Mexico. Where's he? No, he's from somewhere else, though. This dude is like Norwegian or something. I read it. I read it somewhere whenever Doc and I were talking. But he pitched in the DSL this last year. But he is really good in the DSL. So he had a 33% K- walk rate in the DSL this year with only a 2.8% walk rate and almost 40% CSW. His whip on the season, John, was 0.67. And I know it's the DSL, but 17 years old, that's insane command for someone that age. And he was rocking like 23% swinging strike rates. So Iker Radona is a fun DSL name. I really don't like DSL pitchers, but this is one guy. This is like 1 out of 2 or 3 that are DSL pitchers that are in top 20s at all. So Iker Radona.
Have you ever once followed someone, Tim, from this level the whole way to seeing them become a major league player? This sounds like crazy stuff. You're hyping up a 17-year-old that hasn't, this sounds out there to me.
Jason Dominguez, pretty much everyone was following when he was
Right.
like 15 or 16 or whatever. So, I mean, like out of the hype guys, I don't know. Yeah, probably. Like just thinking about this point, I've been doing this fantasy stuff like publicly or whatever for like 4 or 5 years now, I guess.
Not even enough time.
And yeah, and like I think like I've been really doing the prospect stuff for like three years now.
Okay.
And I want to say I would bet there's a few guys that are in the majors now that were like complex or DSL or whatever at that point in time. I'd have to think about it though, and I'm not prepared for that question. So
yeah.
And
well, set a reminder for 5 years, and we'll see where Iker Radona is.
We'll go back. Yeah, I like Iker Radona. I'm a fan. Number 15, right. Pablo Nunez, outfielder. Pablo Nunez with the Reds. So Pablo Nunez was in the DSL also, and in the DSL. So you don't have any stats on him. He had a lot of walks, and like this guy would break. John, I will tell you, this guy would completely destroy the F scores plate skills thing because he had a 26% walk rate this year and a 3.8% K rate.
Wow.
Which is like absolutely unheard of. Only a 2.1% swing strike rate in the DSL, which is unheard of because most guys in the DSL have like 20% swing strike rates. And now he has like no power, but he had a 170 WRC plus regardless. Because the plate skills were just like phenomenally ridiculously good.
Shit,
and he had a 92.9% contact rate.
Did you get that on Fangraphs?
Yeah, on Fangraphs.
41 walks, 6 strikeouts.
Yes.
The old 1 to 7 K to walk.
This guy is basically a minor league Luis Arias. Like no power, but he does steal. He had 16 steals.
Does he bunt every time? I mean,
I don't know, but I mean, he had 16 steals, so he does steal. He does. So he brings something to the table that Arias doesn't, because he does have at least like minor league speed. But it's just hilarious, like his contact rates and his ability to walk and then not, and he walks. Luis Arias like never walks either, so that's another thing. This guy is like a walking, stealing version of Luis Arias.
That is something else. That'd be fun to track, see if how much that keeps up. I mean, you can't really keep a 26% walk rate, especially without it's something if the pitchers don't want to pitch to you, but that can't be the case with this guy. Just doesn't swing at anything, I bet.
Yeah, he's hilarious. We've got some fun names, some goofy names in this Reds list here. Number 14 is Ty Floyd. He was a second rounder out of LSU a couple years back. He did not pitch in 2024. I don't know what happened. Can't remember what his injury was, but he never pitched in 2024. And then this year in 2025, he barely pitched again. Only 8 starts, 27 innings. So I think we're talking about a reliever at this point, but he was good when he pitched. 18.3 K- walk in his A ball, and he was really good at LSU. But I think because of the injuries, it's about time to develop him as a reliever. And again, I mentioned that the Reds have no closer with Pagan leaving, and what's his face, Diaz, the other Diaz brother, not Edwin, the other one, he sucks now.
Alexis.
Alexis, he sucks now. So I don't know. Ty Floyd has really good stuff. So, and he's like 25, 26 now.
I was gonna say
he's 24. But I mean, it's been a couple of years since he was drafted, and it's like, just stop playing around, just make him a reliever and make him a really good high leverage reliever, I think, at this point.
Yeah, that's what do you do when you have a 24-year-old that hasn't even seen whatever, like AA? He hasn't even seen high A, so that's too bad. Maybe he'll just quit and pursue a career in accounting or something.
That's funny because I was side note, I was messing around with Jimmy Crooks, the catcher for the Cardinals. He's like the backup catcher for the Cardinals now. Yeah. Back when he was in spring training last year, I was messing around with him, and he was making fun of Quinn Matthews. He's like, yeah, Quinn. He's like, Quinn doesn't really want to be a pitcher. He wants to be an investment banker.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was messing with him. So he's kind of a goofball, Jimmy Crooks, and he's like, yeah, he's like, because it was like after the game, they were doing autographs and stuff like that, and Quinn Matthews was like the last guy to come out, and he's the only guy that showered. Everybody else just came out in their jerseys like dirty and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, Quinn doesn't really want to be a baseball player. He wants to be an investment banker. So.
Good to have a backup plan if you're a minor league baseball player. I mean,
yeah. Well, he went to Stanford, so yeah. But then again, according to you, if you don't go to Stanford, you could also be dumb and just have parents who get you in. But
fact check, true. That's true.
Next on the list is Arnaldo Lantigua, who's an outfielder that the Reds got from the Dodgers in the Mike Sirota deal. So Mike Sirota is like a way bigger prospect now, but
they got data. You're not giving anybody with actual data on these.
No, he was in A-ball last year. 32 games in A-ball. Pull it up.
32. I know he doesn't. I mean, we got 2 F scores.
Not enough to qualify for an F score. I mean, a 102 hit and a 100 speed, so they're both 100 or above. That ain't bad. But Lantigua had a 225 ISO last year, 12 bombs and 2 steals in 81 games between complex and A-ball. So this is a guy that is far away, but former Dodger, and he came over in the Sirota deal, and I kind of always liked him back in the DSL. So this is one of those guys who had like really strong DSL numbers, and he was pretty good last year in a small sample size. You know, he's pacing for 25 bombs in the minors, so that's not nothing to sneeze at. And he was 19, so he's going to be 20 next year. So that's Arnaldo Lantigua, interesting name in the Reds org, who I think is underrated. Next is number 12, your favorite player in this list here, Adolfo Sanchez.
Get me in trouble. Yeah, get me in so much trouble.
Yeah. Well, Doc and I were talking about Cam Schlittler and joking about what kind of mustache he had last year. So before he got popular back when he was in the minors.
And I imagine an Adolfo Schlittler. That would be.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. So Adolfo Sanchez is from the DR. He is not from the German escape countries of Nicaragua and Honduras and stuff like that. So I don't think there's a relation here, but who knows? Maybe one of the German subs got lost and landed in the DR.
Yeah, Tim and I did the math before the show, and we figured out that Hitler's definitely not still alive, and MLB Data Warehouse does not support Adolf Hitler. We'd like to be very clear. We condemn all genocide.
Fascists.
Yeah. Yes.
Fascists.
We're pro freedom here at MLB Data
Warehouse. Very pro freedom. I'm a big
I'm not the most pro freedom guy in the world. Like, I kind of wish I could cram down like some like moral, some moral weight on people, but mostly pro freedom. So I don't want to take too much credit, but
yeah, I'm gonna give you a little a little what am I going for? Philosophical thoughts here for your future when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Isn't a part of the walk of life to discover these types of things, not to be forced these things, but to discover on your own so that you have your own moral and soul
Yeah,
growth.
yeah. You need freedom to discover virtue for yourself for it to ever become real. But
Yes.
like there are certain things that we should just not allow for sure. Like there's a line, right? You don't want to you don't
Yes.
let somebody murder somebody so they can learn that was bad.
Yeah. We should definitely not allow Epstein Islands.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Adolfo Sanchez, another DSL guy. A lot of these Reds guys are like so far away. He had a 157 WRC plus, and he walked more than he struck out. Only an 11% swinging strike rate, which we just iterated is pretty good for the DSL. 2 bombs, 10 steals. So unlike Pablo Nunez, this guy actually has power. So that's why I kind of like him a little more because he actually has like more tools than just like a ridiculous ability to walk, not strike out, and make contact. But I think Adolfo Sanchez is just a lot more well-rounded as a player. And we should see him. I should probably see him next year in Florida since he's going to be on the Daytona. It looks like he'll probably be on the Daytona Tortugas unless he's traded this offseason. So I'll probably get to see Adolfo in person. I'll report back on what kind of stash he's rocking, if any.
Have you ever gone to NASCAR races? If you're close to Daytona?
No, I have been to the track, but I've never gone to any NASCAR races. Now, while I rock a bow and arrow, and I have quite a few weapons of destruction, like rifles, shotguns, pistols, whatever, I am not a redneck enough to go to NASCAR.
Yeah, events. you went to college and stuff. You couldn't.
Yeah, I like my outdoors, but not to that extent. I'm more of like a paddle board and fishing and shooting arrows, chill guy, rather than a slam down some bush lights at a NASCAR event guy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't own any weapons though. I'm pretty weak in all regards. So, but can we get to somebody with some actual stats? This is freaking rough.
When we get to number 10,
it's not Aaron Watson.
Aaron Watson was the second round pick, drafted, and he's a Floridian like me, so I'm a big fan. Went to Trinity Christian in Jacksonville, so a high school guy. We got nothing on him except let me give you his first year player. I like him. Aaron Watson is my number 65 rated first year player guy. So just for kicks, 65. Now, number 10. Hey, the good news about not having this data is that we're going to go through these guys a little faster. So we did a little BS at the beginning, and we messed around with a little fascism talk here and there. Now we got to get to the top 10. We still have over 30 minutes to kill. So how about that? Yes. Number 10 is Cam Collier. This is probably a guy you know. He's been around for a hot minute. A lot of guys really like Cam Collier. Like Welsh is really big on Collier, but I have never really been a big fan on Collier. I kind of think he's overrated. I believe his dad was in the MLB. Can't remember his dad's name. This is a guy that you should love. Right. You love these relation type things.
Yeah, no, Collier. Oh man, for sure. There was like an Astros guy, Lou Collier.
Lou Collier.
Good
old Lou. Yeah, good old Lou. So Cam Collier, I'm just not that big of a fan of. But one thing to keep in mind with him is the stats on the back of the baseball card. Take with a bit of grain of salt because he did play in Double-A this year as a 20-year-old. So that's fairly impressive once we get our age to level thingy mabobber worked out, which you promised we're gonna have before Christmas. 1 month and counting.
Got 1 month. Got 1 month.
Yeah. Right. It's Christmas Eve in 1 month. You got 1 month, baby. Yeah. So Cam Collier, 20-year-old in Double-A. Runs very high BABIPs, which is why if you go to the hit tool, it's only 100, despite decent averages and stuff.
BABIP's here now.
A lot of it is kind of BABIP driven. Yeah, we got
never announced that, but it's here now for you guys. 384 in Double-A.
Yep. And this year in 95 games, he only had 4 bombs. I do not like that for a first baseman or third baseman for like a corner prospect. Yeah. That's a little bit Cabron Hayes-esque to me, right?
Yeah, lefty too. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that shouldn't matter, but if a left-handed first baseman should be hitting bombs.
As a guy who is forced to watch Cabron Hayes for X amount of years, doesn't that profile kind of scare you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. First base for sure. You gotta. I mean, for the first base. He's a third. Do you think he's gonna play? I don't know. He's a third baseman here.
He's a big boy. I think he's moving to first. I mean, I don't know.
I won't believe that. I know that like Vinny Pasquantino on, I think was it him on Twitter recently talked about how like the WAR stats are really not nice to first baseman because they devalue the defense. And
Yeah.
isn't there a good reason for that though? I mean, how much can you really mess up that bad at first base? It has to be like the easiest position to play, right?
You have to catch the ball every time. The ball's going to come to you every time. So you can't be like a dweeb.
But bro, when
you gotta catch the ball.
This passes like the work league softball league test, right? Like when you got a big fat guy on your work on your work softball team or your whatever, your beer league team, like you put him at first base because
I will tell you though, extension matters. I feel like I'd rather hide a guy in left field than first base because you have to be able to catch the ball every time. And then you want to be able to stretch. Like I watched Paul Goldschmidt, who's like a Gold Glove first baseman for a lot of years in St. Louis, and he made he was like 6'5", freaking doing the splits on first base. And I'm like, bro, you gotta be able to stretch. Like if you can't, like Wilson Contreras at first base, like even though he doesn't he catches the ball, he's good at catching the ball, but he's not going to be able to give you like you're missing like a lot of extension going from Goldie to Wilson Contreras.
I suppose you don't have to throw though. I mean, that's like Pedro Alvarez, the Pirates. He could not throw the ball from third base to first. So
Bryce Harper was playing first base with Tommy John, right? Like, so he had to roll. What do you have to do? Roll the ball back to the pitcher after he caught it.
Yeah. So to your point, yeah, you got to hit bombs if you're going to be a first baseman, and it doesn't look like this guy does it.
Yeah, kind of scary. 101 power, 100 hit, 103 discipline, 84 speed.
Especially with the higher strikeout rate too.
Yeah, I mean, he's not bad, and like, especially considering the age level, but I just don't think he's a top 100 guy or like top 150 guy for me. Like, he's probably top 250 or 300, but I don't see him as like a top player. See, he's a big boy. He looks like Rafael Devers. Like, that guy's not going to, he shouldn't play third base. I mean, Devers ain't playing third base ever again. So,
yeah. Well, either stay at third or start hitting bombs, Cam. Talk to your dad.
Yeah, talk to Lou. Good old Lou. Who do we got for number 9 here? I don't have my rank.
Chase Petty, a name that I know. It sounds like, speaking of NASCAR, that's a NASCAR name.
That's a very NASCAR name. I think he's a Florida boy too. I want to say.
I got him confused with Chase Burns last year. He is not nearly as good as Chase Burns, but let's get some numbers.
Yeah, so Chase Petty, you're going to have major league numbers on Petty too, actually, because he did pitch in the majors. He's always been kind of on and off where like he has a really good fastball and then there's just kind of like not a lot else. The fastball only even rocks a 6, like has good movement profiles. Look at that. 9 inches of horizontal movement on a fastball that is thrown 95, to 98 or whatever, but it only has a 6.8 swinging strike. Not a huge fan of like why, but the slider is obviously really good too. 18.8 swinging strike rate. So this is a guy who might end up being a reliever rather than a starter. So maybe he could be the closer too. Something to think about, especially because the Reds have like Rhett Lauder coming back, who we'll talk about later. They've got Hunter Green. They've got Chase Burns, obviously. So like they've got Lodolo. So I mean, like Chase Petty, maybe the thing to do is just make him your closer because he could just throw fastball slider and perform way better, I think. Or a fastball slider change. Even that changeup is pretty good. 15.7 swing strike on that change. 11.8 on a sweeper is pretty crappy, to be honest, on a swing strike. So if he just went fastball slider change as a closer, he'd be probably really good.
Yeah, probably a splits thing. So I wish we had more major league data to show this off. But yeah, major leagues, negative 2.5% K to walk. 6 innings, but he had all kinds of walk issues. 20% walk rate, 17.5%. K rate, good swing strike rate, I guess, on 169 pitches. But what I recently did add was this little plot that separates the pitch usage between righties and lefties. That's kind of fun. It's ordered alphabetically, so they line up. But it looks pretty much the same actually for him. But wanted to show that off because I added that like last week. But you're right. The Reds are kind of deep in the rotation and not at all in the bullpen. And I remember looking at Petty's just
109 stuff. 109 stuff is good for his major league.
But it's super small. I mean, hardly qualified for that. So
I think that's the trick though. Is you want to throw him in smaller. Like I feel like just throw him in little stints. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
but he could be a closer. Chase Petty.
Yeah, but 97 grade in the minors is typically not great.
Yeah, and 95 in the minors, but I think part of that is
I
just the
mean, overall,
stuff.
97
Yeah,
overall.
yeah. I mean, like, but still, I think he could be a really good reliever just based on that pitch level data right there. Like, those are all good pitches. Fastball, slider, change are all plus pitches right there. When you look at that. So number 8 is Edwin Arroyo. Edwin Arroyo came over a long time ago from the Mariners. I can't remember which. I guess that's the Luis Castillo trade. He came from in the Luis Castillo trade. So Edwin Arroyo is still young because he was a young guy when he came over from the trade. This last season played as a 21-year-old at AA. I think this guy has major league starting potential here. Like he could probably be an eventual like major league starter. I guess you're probably considering second base because I think long term you've got Sal Stewart for third. Maybe you got Collier at first, and then you've got obviously Elliott short, and you got like a McLean, Edwin Arroyo. You can figure that out. You know, you'll know in a couple of years if McLean's going to be good McLean or bad McLean.
Is Ellie good enough to stick at shortstop?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I would leave him there because like I don't think they have another really good shortstop in the system.
He's too tall.
Yeah, it's fine. So is Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin's going to play shortstop, so why not? Yeah. But I like Arroyo a bit. He's a pretty solid player. He's got a 107 hit, 95 power, 106 speed, 96 discipline. So he can do a little bit of everything. A 101 is a pretty good grade for a guy who's young for the level. He's 21 at AA. Is still like a year and a half, 2 years young for the level. Average player in AA, I think, is 23 and a half. So he's got a couple of years in age to level, and contact rated at 80.5% contact rate. So good hit tool for Arroyo with a little bit of power. So if you get a good hit tool with like a 10 to 15 homer profile and 25 steals or something like that, that's not bad. Maybe like a mini worse version of Bryson Stott or something like that.
Yeah, the bottom of the order bat just for the defense mostly seems like it's not looking too good for the Reds so far. This is all pretty uninspiring.
Oh, they've got some top heavy guys here, so like we're getting some interesting stuff. Like number 7 right here, boom, Brett Lauder. That's a major league starter right there. Former first round pick. He was unhealthy last year and missed the whole year, but he's back. So Brett Lauder pitched only 9 innings last year between complex, high A, and triple A. Do we have? I don't know. I think that we got a couple F scores on him. I don't know if we get a full thing of F scores here.
I thought we should.
And he actually debuted in 2024 too. So he threw 30 innings in the majors and was back of the baseball card. He was good, but under the hood he was bad.
I remember that. His ERA was incredible. He was like the luckiest pitcher in the world at the end of 2024.
Yep.
So we got plenty of F scores here.
Look at that. 102 stuff, 117 control, 104 FERA, 69 durability, 104 grade. I've always said that I think Lauder is going to be like a really good number 3 starter. Like he's kind of like a lighter version of Logan Webb or like Framber is what he's going to give you because he's not a strikeout guy, but his command is excellent. And he's going to get a bunch of ground balls, or he should, based on his profile, get a bunch of ground balls. His fastball is actually like a 2-seamer more than a fastball. So, like, even though it says fastball, you see it's his third use pitch. He's throwing slider, sinker, fastball. Oh, there we go. The sinker would be the 2-seamer. But look at that pitch there, John. That sinker. I guess your system categorizes this. I think he calls it a 2-seamer, but I guess your system categorizes it as a sinker.
Yeah, 2-seamers. I reject all 2-seamers. I name them all sinkers. That's
look at that movement, though, dude. 10.5 inches vertical. Or wait, sorry, go back. 10.5 inches horizontal on that pitch. That's good movement there. For a fastball.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up the other 2024 to 2025 dashboard because here it is. So I have one of these bad boys that combines 24 and 25. It doesn't have all the changes I've made, but we saw 2024. Yeah, I mean, the ERA was really good. He didn't give up a single home run on 500 pitches. 39% ground ball rate was pretty low. No homers, so 0% home run to fly ball, 272 BABIP. I mean, 9.4% swinging strike rate. I remember this guy looking at him last year because he was big topic of discussion for last year's drafts because he finished so well, and I was just completely off of him. And then that never got tested because of the injury. But I'm surprised a little bit that you're into him because I was really unimpressed. But it was only 500 pitches in the majors, so we'll see again this year for sure.
I have him currently in my 3-year dynasty rankings, ranked at 120 for starting pitcher. So that's where I've got him.
Yeah. Don't expect a ton. I mean, he's never going to be an ace, but you think he's got a higher chance than most guys of like actually just staying in a rotation.
Yeah, and I think he'll be good because I think that the runs given up is a bit of an aberration when he has given up bad contact, because he's a ground ball guy, so he's always going to outperform the metrics for like. I think he'll be good for like odd new leagues, for instance. Like I think he's going to pitch a lot of innings. He's not going to get a lot of Ks, but I think he's going to limit damage. So he'll be a solid like odd new league guy. Like he'll be like the next Parker Messick, right? Who's like, whoa, Parker Messick was awesome and odd new. It's because he's just is really good at not giving up runs and he's got good command. So number 6 is Steele Hall, who was the first round pick for the Reds. I think he did debut in A-ball, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was in Complex the whole time. Yeah, I think he was in Bridge League. So Steele Hall, I have an FYPD, and I picked him actually in our little thing. I've got him at number 11, FYPD. So Steele Hall's really, really fast, 80 grade runner, and he gets Trey Turner comps. So that's Steele Hall. You could be looking forward to. And he's a shortstop. I don't know. I typoed outfielder on there. I probably just left it on from the last guy and missed it, but he's a shortstop. But he gets Trey Turner comps for Steele Hall, 80 grade speed.
He thinks you can't hear that, I guess. So he thinks he's the fastest player in the draft, and he has some kind of accent. No, never mind. I heard more words. It sounded like he had an Australian accent, but no. So speed guy, Trey Turner comps, you said, but can it start in single A still, or?
Yeah, he'll start in single A. I'll probably see him next year in Florida, and that'll be fun because he is super fast. And like I said, I've got him as my number 11 player in first year player draft. So if you're in a 12 team league or whatever, he should be like a first rounder for you in first year player. Okay. So next on the list, number 5 is Alfredo Duno. This is a dude I saw a ton of this last year. He's huge. He's listed at like 6'2", but I think he's like 6'4". Like this guy's humongous. And he has insane plate skills. He's got a lot of power. I love this dude. Look at that. 19 years old, 6'2", 210. He's bigger than that. I think he's like 6'4", 240 or 6'4", 250. That guy's humongous. 128 power, 97 hit, 113 discipline, 94 speed on the F scores with a 109 total grade. So he's really good for a guy in A-ball. This was in Florida State League too. 21 home runs in Florida State League is really hard to do because of the weather here, the wind, and like we're at sea level. And really good exit velocities for a young dude. 90.7 average EV, 105.6 90th, 111.3 max EV. And like I said, his plate skills are good as well. So he's not just all power. An almost 18% walk rate with only a 20% K rate is really good. Now the contact, yeah, it can be better, but he has really good plate skills and really good power. And he tries to steal bags too. It's funny. I got a YouTube video of him that I shot a lot. Cause like I said, I've seen him like 5 or 6 times or something live this year. And one time I saw him on first base and his fingers were doing the little twitchy thing. And I like zoom in on him. I'm like, watch, he's going to try to steal this base. He did. Like the nice play, he tried to steal, he got thrown out. I was like, yep, do it. I was like, I saw the little twitchy in his fingers. I was like, I knew he was going to go. Catcher, same thing.
He was giving it away. He was tipping his steal.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it all the way from the freaking stands. So catcher, definitely, I would say saw that. But Alfredo Duno is a really nice player. He's a top 100 guy for me in prospects. So like I said, they're pretty top heavy system. So if number 5 is the top 100 guy, that's telling you that all top 5 of the top 5 here are top 100 guys.
Let's do the Duno comp, Alfredo. I guess at catcher, that's going to be limited comparison. With Baldwin,
yeah, what do they have there?
Drake Baldwin.
I gave him, this is my comp that I put, shades of Salvador Perez with better plate skills and worse hit tool.
easy to have better plate skills than Salvador Perez, but
because he's big like Salvi.
Yeah.
He's a big boy
Yeah.
like Salvi. And there's
Wouldn't
not
count.
a lot of catchers are shorter. They're not most catchers are usually not like 6'4" or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
Wouldn't actually count on steals from someone like that. How many catchers actually steal bases after their like third or fourth season, you know?
JT Real Muto.
Yeah. But
So one.
Yeah, right. Very, very few. The guys this year, who was it? There was Agustin Ramirez, who
but he's going to move to first, so
okay,
probably seems like he will.
He's looking like the. I'm doing some like early ADP tiers stuff. I'm just kind of looking at everybody real quick, just to set the landscape for redraft leagues. And yeah, there's like 2 catchers that maybe can even steal double-digit bases. It's Ramirez and Kyle Teal. So just seems like with the catchers overall, whether it's the coaches tell them to chill out or just the knees kind of go away, you really shouldn't ever project steals long-term for catchers, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. Number 4 is shortstop Tyson Lewis, big complex / A-ball guy. So when you look at his stats, you're not gonna be able to pull all of them here, John, because he did play half the season in complex. But I saw him. This dude is ripped. Like this is like maybe like the most ripped player that I saw in A-ball this year. Like he is freaking ripped like no other. Like literally, like his muscles are coming out of his clothes like Tyler O'Neill style.
So when but you have to, when you go Tyson Lewis, you see Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
So,
he'll be impossible to look up his whole life unless you put Reds. There's a picture of him.
But he's got a shirt on. We got to see this guy shirtless.
This guy's friggin' ripped. There was a rumor that in complex ball, he hit a ball like 119 or 120 miles an hour or something like that. It was like the hardest hit ball in the minors this year until what's his face hit one like 120 in the fall league.
Is that true though?
What, the 119 or whatever?
You said it's a rumor.
I don't know. It's because it's a rumor because remember at complex league it's all team data. So the team released the team. Yeah, there's 114.8 mile per hour homer.
It looks like he got married recently too, so that's exciting.
Oh, dude, 19-year-old getting married? How about that?
Or something. It might have been.
He's from Omaha. He's from Oklahoma, so Midwestern boy here.
Hold on, we gotta. All right, so 2,000 followers. This is one of your guys that you could go just be friends with. Not a big social media following. This is too bad. Instagram's letting us down here, but yeah,
just take my word for it. The dude is freaking ripped.
But also this exit velocity thing, like it's hard to say. But
yeah, well, we do have some data from him at A-ball, not just a complex. So you can see here, he's really, really fast and really, really strong. And he had an average EV of 92.4, 90th of 105.8, and a max of 112.3 in 38 barrels in A-ball. So smaller sample size there. Contact rate was not great, 59.5. But he was really aggressive in the zone. So I love that. Look at that 82.3% zone swing rate. Just like insanely aggressive at balls in the zone. He's also like 40% chase rate is also not good. So maybe it's just swinging everything. But
57% swing is really high.
Yeah. But he hits the ball really hard and he's got a lot of power. So like, I don't know, like right now, could he be like a shortstop version of Spencer Jones or something? Yeah. Could he be like the next Trevor Story or something? Like I could see something like that. Just like tons of power and speed, maybe not the best contact skills. So
he made contact on this one. She said yes. Shout out to Tyson Lewis 9 weeks ago, engaged. Looking very happy.
This dude,
I don't see the ripped thing though. I'm not seeing like.
Well, he's not wearing tight pants there, but I'm telling you, his freaking quads were like ripping out of his pants when I saw him. He's got a stance that kind of looks like Matt McClain's too, but he's a lefty. So, when you see him in a Reds jersey, you're like, oh, it's like lefty Matt McClain here, but bigger. So I'm a big Tyson Lewis fan. Interested in the power speed.
I know you said that contact rate is horrifying. 73%. Yes.
Yeah, but it's also a small sample size. He only had a handful of at-bats in A-ball, but I'm
feeling pretty good as a Pirate fan right now. The Reds are not making me nervous for the future.
Not shaking in your boots. Number 3, this is a guy that I really like, super underrated guy, outfielder Hector Rodriguez. This is like, he's a top 100 guy for me and has been for a while, but he's like not on a lot of lists. F scores love this guy. Look how good he is across the board here. 110 power, 108 hit, 98 discipline, 106 speed, 114 durability. So this guy is just like really solid across the board skills. Stolen base rate is pretty crappy. Now that we're looking at that, 68%. But he does hit the ball pretty hard. Lack of barrels, so 4.6 barrel is pretty concerning. But a 105.8 90th EV and a 112.7 max EV are good. And he's rocking 80% contact rates. So with a near 80% contact rate and an 88.6 zone contact rate, like when you mix that contact with that power, that's good. You just got to figure out the barrel situation. So it's kind of weird. It's like he hits the ball really hard and he makes a lot of contact, but he's just not squaring it up as much as you would like for those, for having good contact and good exit velocities. It's like, man, you just got to get that barrel like an inch, just get the barrel right on the ball a little bit more. He's just like kind of off on some of his swings, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. I like the high contact with some bat speed. That seems like there's a lot of opportunity there.
And he could start this year. I mean, he was in AAA last year as a 21-year-old. So there's like a very good possibility that this guy could like break camp. I don't know who's blocking him, but he had 19 bombs and 15 steals this year. So Reds roster resource. I don't even know who they have out in the outfield right now.
It's bad, yeah.
It's like freaking Friedel and who else? They don't have Jake Fraley anymore blocking him. There's like TJ Friedel and
Marte started playing outfield last year, right? That's like,
and then you've got Gavin Lux and starting left field. I mean, like really is like Gavin Lux and Will Benson is gonna block this guy? I don't really think so. So unless they sign someone or trade for someone, there's a good shot Hector Rodriguez breaks camp as a starting outfielder for this team, I think.
That's a really weak lineup, man. If Sal Stewart doesn't hit, there's like one good hitter here, or one definitely good hitter, I guess you could say.
Yeah, Ellie, Sal Stewart's gonna be good, I think. Noelvi's pretty solid. I don't think Noelvi's gonna be like amazing by any means, but I think he's gonna be at least a solid player. As long as he stays away from the Roy's and doesn't get another suspension for life or whatever, then
pretty good rotation. Bullpen's bad. I don't know. Nobody wants to win the NL Central. And the Brewers are just like, okay, we'll do it. That's how it goes every year.
I don't know, man. There's Pirates, Brendan Donovan rumors out there now. So,
like for real? Is that new?
Yeah. It's been reported. Katie Wu reported in The Athletic today that the Pirates are interested in like Brendan Donovan and Lars Nootbaar. They're interested in a lot of these Cardinals guys that they're.
You gonna get Mitch Keller? You gonna take Mitch Keller for him?
God, I hope not. I hope they at least get like a prospect instead. And maybe Bubba Chandler, since the Pirates apparently don't like him that much. So number two, I just made a lot of Pirates fans mad, probably that. Number 2, Sal Stewart. So just mentioned Sal Stewart. Sal Stewart's a beast. Bring up his F scores here. I love Sal Stewart.
Yeah, he's been getting. I didn't know much about him, but people are being pretty aggressive on him in early drafts this year.
He's a top 30 prospect for me, and in Dynasty third base rankings, I shared the other day Munetaka Murakami's ranking. I've got Sal Stewart above Munetaka Murakami in Dynasty, but 112 power.
Murakami's going to be. That guy's not going to be good.
Oh, he's gonna hit a bunch of bombs.
I don't think so.
He had like a 146 power score in the F scores because I have a Japanese correlation table that I had already put together last year, so I use that.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
146 power.
That's interesting. Let's take a segue and let's talk about that because has anybody ever struck out like Murakami in Japan? Like,
no,
right. So you don't really have anything to like compare it to.
He also walks a lot though, so it's kind of basically this is what you can compare it to is Max Muncy. Basically he's a 25-year-old Max Muncy, more or less. Like the F scores, and he's also a lefty, and he's gonna play like a third base, first base kind of deal. So like his F scores and his stats line up very well to him basically being a 25-year-old Max Muncy. So if you just want a young version of Max Muncy, just draft Munetaka Murakami.
I just think, man, I mean, I know that some of these tweets and stuff can be like, they can, whatever, it's overly simplistic, but there's the one about he hit 0 something against velo above 94 or something like that. And then everybody's like, well, Everybody in the majors is throwing 97 now. If this guy can't hit high velo, like he's going to be out of the league. But I don't know. I did.
Look, he's not going to be a superstar, I don't think, but I think he's going to be a fine player. Like he'll probably make a few All-Star appearances. Because remember, he's 25. Not many free agents ever come over at 25, so there's value just in that.
Yeah, I did a breakdown on him. Shout out to me. Not that it wasn't very, but there you go. That's the kind of stuff we're doing at MLB Data Warehouse. Just trying to get as much stuff out there. But let's go back to Sal Stewart.
So Sal Stewart, 112 power, 108 hit, 108 plate skills, 99 speed, 115 durability. So really good F scores again across the board here. And just a way better version of Hector Rodriguez, who we just talked about. So Sal
got
Stewart
to the majors, right? He got to the majors last year?
Yeah, he got to the majors. He can play third and second base. This is a guy that I saw live like years ago here when he was with the Daytona Tortugas. And when I saw him and Cam Collier at the same time. And I was like, Sal Stewart is way better. And like, I just looked at him and I was like, this guy's way better. I was like, how come no one's talking about this guy? Never talking about Cam Collier. But that was back like 2-3 years ago or something like that down in when he was down in Daytona. Mm-hmm. So I've been a big fan of his for a while. 80% contact rates, so really good contact rates across the board. 107.2 90th EV is insane. 113.7 max EV. So this is a dude, John, who's always been a really, really good hitter, and he developed power this year. This was his first big power year. So like those EVs are like, wow. And then a 21% barrel rate too, on top of it is ridiculous. So barrel master, really high EVs, really great contact. And then even he steals. He has an 85% stolen base rate, and he had 17 steals. So in the majors, maybe he's like a 10 steal guy or 12 steal guy, but he's going to pitch in some steals. He might be like a sneaky, like Josh Naylor, because he's a big boy. But he might be like a sneaky Josh Naylor and like have like 15 steals, something like that every year. And there might be this weird outlier season like Naylor where he has like a 25 steal season out of nowhere and you're like, what the hell? Just something to watch out for.
I've got projections
Paul
up.
Goldschmidt had a bunch of steals too back in the day. So it could be something like that.
It definitely doesn't. What was his to see a sprint speed? No, 14%. So that's low, but
yeah,
whatever. Josh Naylor did it.
Yeah,
I've got season projections. They need a lot of work, a little bit of work, not a lot of work, but yeah, 11 homers, 10 steals, and this is an under projection in plate appearances. Steamer says 410 plate appearances. So that needs boosted up. It's early. I wouldn't trust projections yet, but 15 homers from Steamer in that. What's that, like 2/3 of a season? So a 272 batting average projection, 338 OBP. That's really aggressive from Steamer on this guy. So
yeah.
One more thing to look at is the ADP. Yeah, he's going in the top 250. People are being a little bit aggressive to get him, and the trend line's down. Yeah, 230 or so.
I would totally do that. I'm a huge fan, man. 25. He had 25 homers last year. He had 5 home runs in the majors in 18 games, even.
Depends on the site, but is he only a first base eligible?
I think he only played first this year.
Okay.
So he has to get third base eligibility because I think Noelvi was playing third when he was there. So it looks like in the majors he only played first. But they've got Steer. No, he played third too. So he played 6 games at third and 11 at first.
Okay. So probably depends on the site, I guess. But first base, third base is well, that's not as nice as having middle infield and corner, but it's a benefit if you can get both.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm big on Sal Stewart. Number 1, Chase Burns. Chase Burns is like maybe the best. He has like the best stuff of any minor league pitcher not named Paul Skeens in a long time. It's just kind of weird. Like Chase Burns gets a little hidden because Paul Skeens was so freaking good. Right. That everyone would be all over Chase Burns as if he was Paul Skeens if Paul Skeens didn't exist. But the thing is, Paul Skeens exists, so Chase Burns doesn't get the love he should. But those F scores, 113 grade.
This is major leagues.
Those are the major leagues. Yeah. 127 stuff, 104 control. There's the minor leagues.
Which one do you want?
118 FERA. You can show them both. His stuff is so good. I've got him in my 3-year dynasty ranking as my number 6 starting pitcher. So wow. Here's my top 10 for dynasty for 3-year dynasty. Number 1 is Paul Skeens, 2 is Tarek Skubal, 3 is Garrett Crochet, 4 is Logan Gilbert, 5 is Yoshi Yamamoto, 6 is Chase Burns, 7 Hunter Green, 8 Cole Reagans, 9 Brian Wu, 10 Emmett Sheehan. So Sheehan and Chase Burns are probably the shots in that one. Yeah,
you're
friggin'
crazy.
Sheehan, man. F scores love Sheehan.
Yeah.
Look at the Sheehan F scores. He's a beast.
I know he's very good, but 10 is
but
putting him above a lot of proven guys. But yeah,
well, remember that's for dynasty, so you have to take age into consideration. He's only 26. Sure. But Chase Burns has I think the highest F stuff of any major league or minor league pitcher in all of baseball at a 127. Like Cole Reagans is 124, for instance. Tarek Skubal's a 123 F stuff. So if you go to the stuff leaderboards, I want to say he's going to be the highest starter. Like there might be some relievers that have a higher. Harlan Susana is tied with him for minor leaguers. So that's a note to maybe buy on Harlan Susana. And Travis Secor had a 140, but he's out with TJ. So
look,
see, Mason Miller, Hader, and Chapman are the only guys ahead of him. Basically, right. Relievers are the only guys ahead of him.
Yeah, he had a 27%. Let me go back to that. I looked just comparing him with major leaguers. I mean, we saw 40-some innings from him last year. A little bit of an injury, then he finished in the bullpen. Just they wanted to take it easy, I guess. But 36% K rate, 8.5% walk rate, 27% K to walk, 2.18 JA Sierra, 30. Where's the 16.7% swing strike rate, 34.8% ball rate. I guess the stuff can be so good that you won't give up a ton of home runs just because you're not giving up many balls in play, but he does have a low ground ball rate, which is always a little bit scary in Great American Ballpark. I mean, Hunter Green figured it out, but maybe a little bit of a bloated ERA for home runs.
Yeah, I guess the good thing is like the NL Central has some really pitcher-friendly parks too. So if he's going to be like Pittsburgh and St. Louis are really pitcher-friendly parks. Chicago, it depends on the wind.
Yeah.
So it's like, besides Great American Ballpark, the other parks he's going to be pitching a lot are like not too bad. So like I wouldn't let that scare you. It's not like it's Colorado. You know what I mean? If it's Colorado, that's one thing. Then you got Chase DeLander syndrome to worry about. But like outside of Colorado, like even though Great American Ballpark has park factors up there with Colorado, it's just not as scary because there's like less you have to deal with because you know like you don't have to deal. You're not dealing with the altitude thing where it's like you get altitude sickness every time you travel or whatever. So like you don't have to deal with as much.
Yeah, you give up more home runs, but everything else. I mean, you actually like there's like no triples in Cincinnati, so you don't really have to deal with that. Like there is some. I mean, whatever. The worst thing you can do is give up a home run, but 360 BABIP allowed last year for Burns. You can see here 34%. RISP hit rate, terrible. My worst name stat, but that's really high. So definitely some bad luck if you see that. See the higher ERA, I wouldn't worry about that. I already drafted him. I did 2 Gladiator drafts and took him. I'm like pretty excited. Hard not to like that guy, and he's actually pretty cheap for redraft leagues. No question that he's like their second or third game starter next year, right?
Yeah, and I guess the only question that you might have is innings. He pitched about 110 innings last year.
Yeah.
And like Steamer has him for 138, but the old school rule of thumb is kind of like a 40 inning, jump is like what you could look for. So 150 innings is like actually solid. Like what's the average starter get nowadays? Like 138 or something anyway, 135.
Yeah, like full season at this point is 180. Like
yeah, I mean he's not going to be Sandy Alcantara, like especially with all the dudes he's going to strike out. He's going to get so many strikeouts, so you're not going to get like 200 innings. Like if you got like 160, that'd be kind of like the best you would hope for, I think. But he should land somewhere, I'd say, between like 140 and 160. I think the 138 from Steamer is kind of conservative. So I mean, like they've got him. Like Steamer has him for 23 starts and 14 relief appearances, even. So I don't know. If
that's
that kind of thing with him. But
I think what Steamer did, it's November 24th. I think because this is how mine works. You kind of just run the code and let the code do it at once and just put it out there. And without any manual adjustments, because then the code will see, oh, well, Burns was in the bullpen last year, so let's project him to do that next year a little bit too. And that's like, obviously that'll change on their part. And I mean, Burns will throw as many innings, as many starts, not as many, but yeah, I agree. I wouldn't worry about the workload just because so few guys are really even going over 180 innings. So if he can get to 160, the number should be great.
Yep, and he's only about 6 2/3 innings away from losing prospect eligibility, so he'll probably lose that in 1 or 2 games.
His ADP is a steal right now. He's behind Woodruff, Pivetta, Uri, Luzardo, Glasnow, Bradish. I mean, he's buried down there.
Behind Glasnow is hilarious because like if you had to bet how many innings, who's gonna have more innings, Like Glasnow's career max is like 110 or something like
Right.
that. So yeah, that's kind of funny.
So
Big Chase Burns fans here on this pod. So that's the podcast. We'll wrap it up there. You can follow John on X at JohnPGH. Follow me at Fantasy Aceball. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you review the podcast on whatever way you watch it, YouTube, Substack, Apple Pod, Spotify, whatever. Review the podcast. And then go ahead and subscribe to MLB Data Warehouse so you get all this stuff, because that's going to give you the jump. If you don't have a subscription, if you have a subscription, you would have already known that Chase Burns was like way ahead in this stuff, and you'd be drafting shares of Chase Burns. You'd be way more in on Sal Stewart than other people because you would see these kind of things. So make sure you subscribe so you can get the jump on your league mates to MLB Data Warehouse. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Peace out, y'all.